Welcome back, chapter 16. For the next 2 months, 2 months went past? Okay. For the next 2 months, we didn't meet to have dinner because we didn't have anything new to talk about except how worried we were that Corinthia was always too busy to talk to us. Besides, Poochie and Lucky would have had to pretend they didn't know about Sadie and her on-again relationship with the man of God. Poochie told me she was gearing up for hip and knee surgery, but I didn't know if she decided which should come first. She also complained about a sciatic nerve she had to have shots for. I thought of all her ailments were somehow connected. Like me, Poochie is too thick. She rocks when she walks and can't go more than a few steps without a cane, which she always keeps in her purse. She scared the hell out of us once when she slung it like a whip and it unfolded like magic. It also sounds like her mama has pretty much been hoping death will hurry up because she's gotten bored as hell waiting for it. Lucky postponed her gastric bypass surgery because she says she was too depressed to start losing weight so rapidly and because she has not been able to stop smoking marijuana, which makes her hungry. She claims her husband wants to start divorce proceedings and she's waiting to see if they're going to quibble over the house. Lucky is so full of shit. Joe will stop all of this if she just tell him she still loves him, but she's too damn stubborn to admit it. Sadie is still a fool in love, but she hasn't given me much confirmation that Mr. Minister is ever really going to file for divorce. I really don't care one way or the other. I feel that maybe once he fucks her over the way he fucked over his wife and her heart cracks into a lot of pieces that she has to glue back together all by herself, then maybe there's a chance we'll get her back. We pray for her stupid ass anyway. And me? I have not been taking my diabetes medicine, even though Dr. Alex called in a new 3 months refill and ordered another lab test to see if my numbers looked better. I've had so much on my mind I didn't even realize I was eating even more of all the things I shouldn't be eating, and I have actually put on 10 pounds, but probably 15 new pounds. I'm taking naps off and on throughout the day, even though I haven't done much to make me tired, and I've started feeling thirsty all the time. But in all honesty, I really haven't cared, especially after I found out from Cinnamon that Jalicia did not finish her blackjack dealer training. She and her boyfriend got into a fight right out there on the strip with a crowd watching them, and she took a Greyhound back to LA. She is back living with Peggy, and neither one of them has bothered to call me. But I know it's just a matter of time. Finally, last week, instead of having our regular dinner at someone's house, we all agreed to just meet at Roscoe's house of chicken and waffles for old time's sakes. Pookie and Corinthia decided to join us via FaceTime. First, I have an announcement to make, Corinthia said. She looked tired, and like she had also put on a few too. Her face was puffy and the bags under her eyes were sunken. This meant she had been doing too much, probably crying. I was dreading hearing the inevitable news that she sold her house. I can't live down here. My kids have been treating me like I'm their slave, and my grandkids and my great-grands are needy and unappreciative. I don't like feeling this way. I'll be back next week, so let's go to Vegas for Lo's birthday. Cole, I'm so happy you're coming back here I could cry, but I don't want to go to Vegas for my birthday. I said to all of them, of course my birthday just happened to come up, as if mine was so important. I really wanted to skip celebrating it this year. You're going, Corinthia said. I need to throw some dice. I need to hear the sound of slot machines paying. And I need to hear people screaming with joy at the top of their fucking lungs. And I don't want to have to hear little voices saying, Grandma, can you do this? Can you do that? So we're going. And I need to see you guys in person, Poochie said. I looked at Sadie. Will you be able to get away? I'll ask. Don't ask, Poochie said to Sadie, which made Sadie realize I had opened my big mouth. I've got discount coupons for you to stay at the Venetian, and I'll get 2 double rooms so you all will be close. Please don't take one of those casino buses again because a lot of folks will be drunk and loud. And if you take the one for seniors, they're even worse because they'll most likely be filled with church members who put God on hold until the morning. Although Sadie, word on the street is that you've been sinning again, so you'll fit right in. Sadie rolled her eyes at me and I rolled mine right back. She should know by now it's impossible to keep secrets in this group. I'll get tickets for the male strippers, Corinthia said and rubbed her palms together. I'm not going to no strip club, Sadie said. Yes, you are, Lucky said. Pray on it. I'll get the tickets to Celine at Caesars because we agreed on that already, and to the Circus du Soleil. It's a circus. As a birthday gift to myself from you ladies, I said. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, which one? Lucky asked. Oh. Everybody clapped. Then it's settled, Lucky said. We can hire one of those fancy black vans with black windows to drive us there. We all have credit cards that work, don't we? We all laughed, although Sadie looked like she had to do the math. I decided to skip Christmas entirely, but then changed my mind a little bit. Instead of getting a tree, I brought 7 beautiful perforated stars with lights inside and put them in my windows. Carl would have loved them. I didn't send cards like I've done the past 30 or 40 years, but I couldn't resist giving Cinnamon and Jonas gift cards to Target for the twins, and I thought it only fair to give them something just for the 2 of them. Gift cards to my favorite movie theater with a promise to babysit, should they ever have a desire to tear themselves away. I let B.B. King eat the last 2 kosher hot dogs and a few French fries, and a half hour later, I scraped the vanilla out of the ice cream sandwich and put it on a saucer, which he licked so clean I had to take it from him. You're going to get diabetes too, BB. When I sat down for a minute, it hit me that I had not been kissed or hugged or had sex in almost a year. It's the longest I'd ever gone since I was in my 30s. And here I was trying to figure out how to celebrate Christmas without my husband. I decided that if I couldn't have sex, I would bake. I called everybody and told them I would have my usual sweet potato pie, peach cobbler, bread pudding, and apple pie, and they could fight over them. I rolled crust, I sliced apples, I opened 10 cans of peaches, I boiled sweet potatoes and mashed them with cinnamon, nutmeg, sugar, eggs, vanilla flavor, and a drop of bourbon. I made bread pudding that was so fluffy it almost floated out of the little baking dish I brought. The peach juice boiled onto an aluminum foil I knew to put under the cobbler because it happens every year. I was too tired to drive, so Jonas stopped by and picked up each Christmas box and delivered them to all 3 of my homegirls. He only wanted a sweet potato pie since he and Cinnamon try not to eat much sugar, though they always made an exception for the pie. And then I slept. I knew I was trying to fill up the day. And because Carl and I always ate lobster tails with butter and baked potatoes with chives, sour cream, and butter, and a salad and sourdough bread on Christmas, I had a lobster dinner for 1 delivered. After I ate some of it, I had 2 glasses of wine and lit the 2 lemon lavender candles he always loved, and later took a hot bath and hoped Carl knew this was my way of saying Merry Christmas and how much I wished he was still here. I realized I really don't want to be celebrating my December 31st birthday in Las Vegas with 500,000 people, so I convinced my friends we should wait until the following week. Plus, Poochie called to let us know that her discount coupons weren't valid on New Year's Eve, and besides, the Venetian and every major hotel on the Strip had been booked up for months. None of us had made the reservation for our chosen activities yet, so we booked them for the following weekend. When they all asked, I told them I did not want a pre-birthday celebration. I did not want to go out for cake and ice cream. I did not want to have drinks at the Lang Hong Hotel. I didn't want to see a movie at that theater with the reclining suede chairs like they have in first class, where they had a real menu with real food and serve you drinks. And only about 30 or so folks even fit inside each of 7 theaters. And no, I didn't want to have a deep tissue massage and an age-defying facial at Burke's Williams. I wanted to stay home and be quiet and remember how Carl surprised me last year. I wanted to remember that was the last time I saw my husband. I wanted to remember that it was the last time I've been kissed, hugged. I wanted to remember how he smelled. I also want to think about how I might spend the next year and maybe the rest of my life without longing for the past or worrying too much about my future. They didn't fight me. I got cards, but not from my daughter. Mom sent me the same one she sent me last year, which made me smile. I got calls, but not from my daughter. Jackson FaceTimed me, and I was thrilled that those twins were getting cuter. He was hoping I'd make it there for my birthday, but knew this one might be hard. I told him I'd be there by spring. He understood. I got flowers from all my girlfriends and Jackson and Odessa and Cinnamon and Jonas and Handsome and Pretty, but not from my daughter. My feelings were hurt, but I tried to pretend like they weren't. I went to Macy's and bought myself a pair of yellow pajamas that were 40% off. Later, I took a bubble bath and turned on Spotify playlists of some of my favorite songs from the 70s through the 90s, which Jonas had made for me. I put on my new PJs and poured myself a glass of medium-priced champagne. I was wide awake, so I started watching Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve special and loved watching the young kids party like they had everything to live for. And when the ball dropped, I realized I did too. The black limo van picked me up last. The driver looked like Billy Dee Williams 40 years ago, which made all of us nostalgic. And I, for one, immediately thought of him in Lady Sings the Blues and only snapped back to Here and Now when I heard the not so deep voice. So, whose the birthday girl? I raised my hand. Happy birthday, Miss Laretha. My sister's name is Laretha, and a pretty name for a pretty lady. So, is this your 50th? I said, of course, it's my second time. And then we all laughed. We were all wearing some kind of colorful but not too bright sweatsuit since we wanted to be comfortable for the drive. Lucky was sitting right behind Billy Dee because she said she needed more leg room, even though Corinthia, who sat right across from her, was taller. Corinthia didn't say a word, but Lucky just had to add, is your mirror fogged, young man? She's 69 and her birthday was last week, so really she's almost 70. Nobody laughed. Well, ladies, you all look great. I just want you to know that the seats recline, and if you're uncomfortable at all, just press the call button and I'll do everything I can to make this 6-hour drive as pleasant as possible. The TVs have headphones so you don't have to disturb your neighbor, and refreshments are available. Are we okay? Everybody said we were. And I can change the lighting to suit your mood, whatever you like, blue, pink, purple, yellow, and red, which I don't recommend. Purple, I said, and I had no idea why. Well, since this is for your birthday, I'll just keep my mouth shut, but I hope I can sleep, Lucky said. I gave her the finger and just missed touching the back of her head. Corinthia cracked up. Sadie must not have seen me do it. What's that? Sadie asked after we pulled up in front of the Venetian and saw Poochie gripping both hands on a walker as if she couldn't stand without it. Tending to her mama had obviously taken a toll on her because Poochie now looked about 80. Her breasts sloped like two eggplants under that ugly grandma floral dress, and she had a beige shawl wrapped around her neck. We didn't know what to say to one another, but we were glad the windows in the van were black so she couldn't see us staring at her. Before Billy D. Williams opened the door, he said, "Happy birthday, Miss Laretha. It has been my pleasure to drive you young ladies. Harold would be your return driver and you will like him, but not as much as me. Don't pick up any strange men. I hope you all win lots of money and thank you for your various generous tip. Much appreciated and much needed." He gave us each a hug after helping us disembark. Poochie was waving at us like we had just gotten off the Titanic. "I'm so happy to see you girls in the flesh, and please don't say anything about this," she said as she pointed to her walker. "It's necessary. But anyway, give me a hug." And we took turns hugging her. "Your rooms are ready, and I typed up our itinerary so we know where we're supposed to be because we have a lot to cover in 48 hours. The Venetian never makes me feel like I'm in Venice because Carl and I went to the real Venice. This is an over-the-top imitation, but I'm not going to complain. I do love coming to Las Vegas because people come from all over the world to witness this spectacle. Carl and I used to drive here 3 or 4 times a year and pretend like we were eloping." "So, who's sharing a suite?" Poochie asked. "Me and Corinthia," I said. Lucky tried not to, but fell and gave an "oh hell" look at Sadie. "And you better not preach or I'll cut you," Lucky said. We had to cover our mouths to stop ourselves from laughing out loud. As we followed the bellman toward the elevators to head up to our rooms, we oohed and ahed over the gigantic floral arrangements. And after we walked by Millionaire Shops Row, there on our left was the first set of slot machines and the casino alive behind it. When I heard people jumping up and down screaming and saw red lights flashing, I heard myself say, "I want to play the slots." "Nobody's going to stop you," Corinthia said. "Right now," I said. "Can't you wait until we get settled?" Sadie asked. "No. Isn't this my birthday celebration?" "You old bitch," Corinthia said. "I'm down with you. I need some excitement too." And we both started laughing. "Well, here are your keys, lady," Poochie said. "Do this. Go over our itinerary before you go to sleep. If you sleep, that is, and let me know if you're too rich or too hungover to have breakfast in the morning." "Then I'll see you all in the morning," Lucky said, holding on to the luggage cart. I knew Sadie would follow her up. We all gave Poochie a peck on both cheeks, and I gave Sadie's mine and Corinthia's key to put our luggage in. Corinthia and I spent the next 4 hours winning and losing hundreds of dollars until we realized it was almost 4 a.m. and we decided to call it a night. I didn't know where I was when I woke up, and whoever it was banging on the damn door didn't help. Corinthia wasn't in her bed, which scared me. I got up and looked through the peephole. It was Sadie in her thick white bathrobe. "I cannot sleep in that room with Lucky. She snores like a pig." "Where's Co?" she asked when she saw her bed was empty. "I don't know. Wait." And I picked up the white notepad at the foot of my bed that read, "Went to the gym. I need to start my day off right. See you before breakfast." Good for her, good for her. So I'll just take her blanket and lie down there on the sofa, which she did. When I felt Corinthia shaking me, she said, "Get your lazy asses up. And Sadie, I can only imagine why you left Lucky in there. Anyway, according to Poochie's itinerary, we've got a long, fun day ahead of us, and we should be at breakfast in 24 minutes. I have already showered. Try it. You'll like it. Leave now, Sadie." And she did. Poochie was waiting for us in the restaurant, as was Lucky, who seemed to have an attitude for having been abandoned. We pretended not to notice. "I want to go to the mall," Corinthia said. "I need to shop." I don't feel like shopping, Sadie said. Me either, Lucky said. Well, I do, I said to Co. Wait, I said, looking at the itinerary. So O is at 7, but I don't see the strip club on here. Good, Sadie said. I didn't know you were serious, Poochie said. Oh, hell yeah, I was, Corinthia said. Look, I paid to see penises and a bare-chested young man, and it's 10 o'clock, so after we leave O, we will drink a double-double latte and have our asses in seats 4 rows from the front. I need this. I don't know what I need, I said, but I'm due for some excitement, and I haven't seen a penis in over a year. Sadie and Lucky said nothing. As we stood outside the Bellagio and watched a spectacular water show along with hundreds of other people while Michael Jackson sang Billie Jean, I found myself thinking about my daughter as I watched the spray of water do its final dance, skipping across the pond until it came to a halt and the music stopped. I felt a sign of relief knowing she was safe. Even though we'd all seen it before, O was, of course, spectacular. It was a real wet dream. I still don't understand how you can walk on water and have flickering circles of flames on it, but the costume combined with acrobatics were what always took my breath away. They're mostly ex-Olympians, Sadie said, and French Canadians, Lucky said. Both were not true, but Co and I just bumped elbows rather than correct them. Only 40 minutes into the 90-minute show, we heard Poochie and Lucky snoring. I nudged Corinthia, who nudged Lucky, who nudged Sadie. But Poochie, who was right behind us in the handicap section, didn't budge until Lucky shook her walker. When the show was over, we waited for Lucky and Poochie at the bar and were able to have 2 drinks before they sauntered over to us. I'm too tired to go to any strip club, Lucky said. I'm staying at the hotel tonight, Poochie said, and I don't want to look at any penises. When was the last time you saw one? Corinthia, who had had 2 rusty nails, asked. Take a wild guess, Poochie said. So who's with your mama? Lucky asked. Her caregiver is staying over. You want to watch a movie in my room, Lucky? Sure, as long as there's no blood in it. Co and I peered at Sadie as if we dared her to back out. She stomped her rubber sole. I'm going even though it's against my better judgment, she said, but mostly to shut you 2 up. Then we will see you ladies tomorrow for more shopping and an early dinner, and then I will bid you all farewell before Celine, Poochie said. You pack your bags and send them down, and your driver will be waiting for you with them outside the lobby entrance after the show. What? I asked. I'm not going to see her, Poochie said. Why not? Lucky asked. Because I've seen her too many times. Well, I didn't like her voice, but I didn't want to be a party pooper, Lucky said. We all looked at one another and laughed. I hadn't been inside any kind of strip club in the last 40 years. I was tired, but not too tired for this. Carl was the last shirtless man in briefs I'd seen. Sadie looked scared. The place was full of women of all ages and quite a few men. When the music started, the dancers came out strutting to the beat, wearing gold neckties showing off their shimmering chests and strong quads and satin G-strings. By the time they lined up and started swirling and dipping, we could hardly hear the music because everybody was screaming and standing up. When one of them bent down and grabbed Sadie's hand, she looked like she was about to have a heart attack. At first, and then a smile appeared on what had been an annoyed face, and the next thing we knew, Sadie was moving to the beat in her seat, and we cracked up when we saw her pop her fingers, then slip a 20 inside a fine Asian's got G-string. By the time we left, Co and I were exhausted, but Sadie seemed to still be a little wired. Thank you, Jesus. We slept in and spent 2 hours at an amazing outlet. I did not buy anything because I didn't need anything. Corinthia brought yet another sexy workout outfit. Lucky had a vanilla shade. Sadie brought a dress on sale that was just like the one she had on, but a different color. To kill time, we decided to play a little blackjack and some slots. None of us knew how to play craps, so we just stood there and watched for about 20 minutes until I decided to take a chance and put some chips on a bunch of numbers like everybody else had been doing. When it was my turn to roll the dice, I threw them so hard they went over the rim. They let me roll again, and this time I rolled an even 11. And everybody jumped for joy, and so did I when they handed me $200 worth of chips. I rolled again, a wrong number this time, so I cashed in my chips. I did not want to gamble anymore because I couldn't tell if it was easier to lose or to win. That's a lot of money. Poochie just had to bring a cake. I had pleaded with her not to pick a fancy restaurant, and she still insisted on 4 stars. Okay, first of all, I just want to say what a good time I've had celebrating my birthday with you all. I would really appreciate it if we could just pretend this one of our regular catch-up dinners, except I like to go around and hear each of you say one thing you are grateful for. And since it's still New Year's, one thing you resolve to do to improve the quality of your life so that we can still be doing this for the next 15 years. Then why don't you start since it's your birthday? Poochie said. Well, I'm grateful we're still friends after more than 50 years. I intend to start taking my diabetes more seriously, and I'm going to try to be nicer to my sister and listen to everything my mother has to say. And I'm going to go to Tokyo in June to see my son and grandkids. I know that's about 4 or 5 things, but this is my damn birthday party. I got applause. Poochie went next. First, I just want to say how grateful I am that you all understood why this wasn't a good time to see my mom. But I'm also pleased to announce I've booked our cruise for late May, so schedule everything around that time since I know your social lives are busy. My biggest goal to improve my life is to have one or both orthopedic surgeries, so I'll be healthier by then. We all nodded. Corinthia said, I'll be grateful when this grief I've been feeling will begin to ease, and I hope to learn how to have fun again, like we had here in Vegas. She got fist bumps. I just want to stop being so goddamn mean and lose some of this fucking weight. Classic Lucky. What am I grateful for? This will surprise you, but I'm grateful for my husband, who I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I hope he still loves me. We were not surprised, which was why she got fist bumps, nods, and tears. Sadie said, I'm grateful for a loving God, who I hope will forgive me for sleeping with someone else's husband. I've also been thinking about going back to work at the library, but this time I don't want to be paid for it. And then Poochie lit the candle and I blew them out. And I did not eat any of the cake. We hugged and kissed Poochie goodbye, then thanked her for all that she'd done to arrange the weekend and told her we would pray that her mama's suffering eased soon. In the sold-out Coliseum, it sounds so weird, at Caesar Palace, our seats were so close we were able to see the perspiration on Celine's forehead. She was still as skinny now as she was before she had those kids. And she sounded as good in person as she did on her CDs, even though Lucky said she was probably lip-singing. Celine sang every song I ever loved, and Lucky sat there like she was watching the hands on a clock move. But when Celine belted out My Heart Will Go On, and everybody gave her a standing ovation, Lucky didn't get up because she was sitting there crying like a baby. Okay, that's the end of chapter 16. They ain't gonna talk about why Corinthia didn't want them there. Just 2 months later, and they acting like kumbaya. Well, just like black folks and black families, they like to not talk about stuff and sweep stuff under the rug. But I still want to know why she ain't want them there. And I must add, Lo is playing with her life, right? Like we all do. Like we say we're gonna do stuff and we really want things to change with our health and stuff like that, but we don't put forth effort. I'm just bracing myself that I don't, hear that Lo had a, heart attack, because she eats some of the wrong stuff, real wrong stuff. But that's all I got. Not much happened. They celebrated her birthday and they all got together in person, and they gonna be heading home soon. But oh well, that's the end of the chapter. I shall see you in the next chapter. Bye for now.